Hello everyone, I'm Tim from Tim's PC and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or budget. Also live stream my builds and repairs for transparency and educational purposes. So if you'd like to get an awesome new PC and you'd like to see it get put together live, send me a message today. Alrighty, well, I have a fluffy Mao sitting on me with his cone of shame. I think he's trying to say sorry. He's trying to suck up so I don't dock his pay. Because if you've seen what's been happening here at Tim's PC today, well, it's actually over the last sort of 48 hours, because this live stream that we're doing tonight was meant to be done last night. But Fluffy Mao destroyed the micro HDMI cable from the camera to the capture card, so I couldn't do the live stream last night. But for some reason he has decided to come on over here and sit in my lap, because it's obviously cold and my lap is obviously warm. So yeah, here he is, sort of kind of in the way. But anyway, we're here tonight and we've got a good one on tonight. We're going to be building Russell's PC, which is pretty much an all Be Quiet case and fan setup. So obviously we can't get Be Quiet motherboards. There was no point getting a Be Quiet cooler. This cooler here with the Be Quiet fans is going to be quite, a pretty good option, and it's got a longer warranty than the Be Quiet all-in-one liquid coolers. But we'll go through the components here and we'll get stuck right into it. So we've got the Ryzen 7800x3d 8-core 16-thread CPU. We've got an Asus x670-P Wi-Fi, which is the Asus Prime CSM motherboard. We've got a 32GB kit of, I think it's 6400 MHz CL32 DDR5 RAM and a Samsung 980 NVMe SSD. We've got a 4TB hard drive up here as well. We've got a Gigabyte Eagle RTX 4080 there. We've got an 850 watt in-wind power supply, a couple of 3-packs of Be Cool light wings, I think they're called. Be Quiet. Sorry, Be Quiet. Be Cool. Look at it, Deep Cool. I'm calling it Be Cool. Yeah, that'd be right. So yeah, Be Quiet silent wing. Sorry, not silent wings. Light wings.
You're having a good one.
I love it. Don't you love it? It can be all edited out anyway at a later date. And then the case. So the case here is the Be Cool Pure Base 500DX. So it comes with RGB strips on the front. It does come with some pre-installed Be Quiet Silent Wings fans. But like I said, we're going to be using the Light Wings fans, which have the RGB ring around the edges there. So they look pretty bloody fancy, don't they? Alright. Let's get started. I think this cat is going to have to go somewhere else. Like maybe, dude, maybe you can go up here for a while. So let's have a look at this motherboard. Alrighty, so what do we get on this particular board? So this is the Asus Prime x670 motherboard here, and starting up the top here we have 12 pins of CPU power. nice direct touch heat sinks here on our MOSFET VRM co-processors. Obviously we've got our AM5 socket there. We have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 fan headers on this motherboard. 1, 2, 3, and 4 RGB headers. Obviously dual channel memory here, so 4 slots, 2 channels. We've got our USB-C, USB 3, got a couple of SATA ports here. Down the bottom we've got a 12 volt RGB header there, another sneaky 12 volt header. We've got our front panel connectors down here, 4 SATA ports there. We've got a secondary USB 3 header there, so that comes in handy sometimes. We've got a couple of USB 2 headers, the aforementioned RGB headers and fan header. We've got a COM port header down the bottom there, and our front panel audio here. So this header here, plus these little gold capacitors here, our audio capacitors. And then in the middle here we've got our PCIe bus. So we've got the X16 slot here, we've got a single PCIe Gen 5 NVMe slot, and we've got 1, 2, 3 additional NVMe slots. So we've got a total of 4 on this motherboard, it looks like. And then we've got a single X1 slot here, and then these two here are actually X4 slots. So you can see along the bottom, you can see the pins are connected, you know, that far along than the rest of the slot. There's nothing there, it's just a bit of plastic there sitting on top of the board. So we've got an X1 slot, as I said, and then 2 X4s down here. So that comes in handy if you wanted to have a 4K capture card or something like that. They run on an export interface, so you've got some options there. And then around the back here, just quickly, we'll have a look at our rear I/O. So we've got built-in Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.1. We've got our LAN port. We've got 8 USB 3s, including 1 Type-C and then 2 USB 2s. Got a PS2 port there, and we've got a display port and HDMI port if we were using them. Alrighty, and that is the Asus Prime X670 motherboard. Alright, Fluffy Meow. He's very fluffy. Got a couple of people there saying hello. Christine stepped away. We've got George. Hey George, how you going? Good to have you with us as always. And we've got Nicholas. Hey Nicholas, good to have you here. Hope your morning's treating you well. Okay, so let's get our 7800x3d in place. And so yes, now AMD use a LGA style socket for all their CPUs. Now, people used to sort of say, oh, the LGA socket, that's the Intel style socket. And that's not really true, because Threadripper, AMD's HEDP product, is actually LGA and has been LGA since the start. They never had pins on the bottom. They've always used land grid array. Yeah. Hey Russell, how you going? So yeah, this is Russell's PC that we're building here tonight. Alrighty. What's that?
Oh, I heard a sound and I was like, oh, it's just the cat crashing into
It's just the cat crashing into stuff.
You can't see properly because of this cone. So he just walks into things.
I thought this had 3 additional slots, but it looks like there's only... It looks like there's only 2.
Take the thing off and then we'll find out.
This doesn't come off.
Oh.
I thought this came off.
Oh. You suck.
Yeah, I know. But I've never featured this motherboard here, so what do I do? I don't know what I don't know. I'll show you. I'll show you what I was thinking, and I think you'll agree that this might sort of make a bit of sense to you. When I saw this, I was like, oh yeah, that will come off, and there'll be another M2 slot under there. I don't know what the arrows are pointing at. If yeah,
it's art. I don't know.
I get that. I get that this here is the chipset heatsink, but it's just elongated. So yeah, even though it might look like another M2 slot there, that's not actually an M2 slot. So we've got 1, 2, 3 M2 slots on this motherboard. Okay. So all of these slots here, they're all PCIe 4 and above. And this one at the top here is PCIe 5. So I generally try and keep that top slot open just for when PCIe 5 drives get released, then people can easily sort of put one in there as an upgrade. Because people love fast SSDs. I tell people that there's, you know, after a certain speed, there's sort of diminishing returns on having the SSD faster and faster and faster, but, you know, people don't want to hear it, man. They want that raw speed. Fuck whether they can actually notice it. They just want it. We're also traumatized from running Windows off a hard drive.
Like, it's a bit cold here tonight. I'm like, how cold is it like this?
Oh.
It is 8. So,
It's 8 at Gosford.
yeah.
Oh, bloody hell. Gosford. Gosford's bloody near the coast.
Glen Innes is -1.
It's already -1 at Glen Innes. It's only 8:15.
There's 0 at Armadale Airport.
Oh.
Feels like -3.5. It feels like -5.
But I mean, they don't call it the New England Tablelands for nothing. And if you're watching, you don't know where we're referring to. We're referring to the highlands of northern New South Wales. So it gets pretty cold up there. It's quite high, as the name might suggest. As far as Australia goes, we don't have super high mountains in Australia. They're sort of up to about 2.2 kilometers high. That's about as high as the mountain range gets in Australia. And if you're over in America and stuff, and you're trying to make sense of Australia's mountains, We got some mountains about the same sort of age as the Appalachians in the eastern United States. So it's a similar sort of age, and yeah, so they're very, very eroded at this stage. They're not like the Rocky Mountains or something like that. You know, it ain't. They are a fraction of what they used to be, but it's still pretty cold up there because it's winter here right now. Yeah, New England tablelands is one of the coldest places in Australia, so.
Russell says I grew up in Stanthorpe.
Oh, yep. Yeah, well, Stanthorpe is still, it's the New England tablelands still, but it's in Queensland. It's over the border.
Luigi says hi, mate.
Hey Luigi, how you going? Good to have you with us. So your PC will be inbound. So hopefully Monday or Tuesday. If you're super lucky, it'll be tomorrow. But that doesn't happen too often. It's more statistically likely you'll get it on Monday or Tuesday. Okay. So we're going to be, like I said, we're going to be putting our Be Quiet Lightwings fans on this and in the case here as well. So it's going to be, we're going to try to make this as quiet as possible, but you know, despite it being a relatively high-end PC. So yeah, it's a little bit of a conundrum. You know, you want a powerful PC, but then you want it to be like super quiet, and it's like, oh, okay. Some decisions have to be made. So go on with the case here. The customer still wants it to look good. Russell still wants it to look good and all that. So we sort of hummed and hawed about what configuration we'd want to use and all that. So I was just like, we just decided on what we got. Okay. So we are swapping over the mounting hardware here. Still using the standard backplate that we got with our motherboard.
Michael wants to know how much this ended up being with that.
I can tell you, I still have the other computer open. I can tell you. So this was $46.50 all up. Alright, so one point to note with these coolers here, the Deep Cool LS720 coolers and the smaller, the 240mm version of this cooler as well, they all come with pre-applied thermal compound, so you don't have to do anything with that if you don't want to. And like I say to people, it's usually not worth it to see any difference. Yeah.
Corey wants to know if Fluffy Malvin docked that cable.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, he tried to argue that it's because of his cone of shame, but
because he couldn't see. But
it's just
he's a
stupid.
liar.
Just stupid. How dare he?
He only gets 1 tin of fluffy mouth food tonight.
Yeah, only 1 tin of fluffy mouth food.
Bradley says good day, Tim. How you going?
Hey Bradley, how you going? Good to have you here. And Chris, hey Chris, how you going? Good to have you here. What's been happening?
What? I won't give her any chips, and she's like, You alright?
Yeah.
Shit away. That's a really chunky one.
Yeah.
Packaging.
They always come with that.
I hurt my foot trying to crush that with my foot.
Yeah, you don't crush it with your foot. You rip it apart. You rip the sides off it, then you rip the bottom off it. Okay. So like I say, a good way to sense check yourself when you mount your cooler is if you get it all ready, apply a bit of pressure with your hand, and if it's making good contact, the surface tension will sort of hold the cooler on top of the CPU lid for a couple of seconds, at least long enough for you to screw down the first bolt without the cooler sort of popping off from the, you know, the force of these pipes sort of pulling it up. Yep.
He says cone shame is his punishment.
Yes. No. He's poor bastard's been stressed out from the dogs, and yeah, the cone of he's been compulsively licking, and as a result, he's had to get the cone of shame to stop him, save him from himself, basically.
Break the habit.
Yeah.
Let his hair grow back.
Yeah. So a couple of weeks with the cone of shame. He's okay. He's working it out. Slowly but surely. Sweet as. It's been a while since I've used Lightwings. I've got some spare. I've actually got some spare Lightwings fans here. Someone was coming over for them, and then they bailed at the last minute, and then they've been sitting there for like a month. That's it. Anyway, I don't think we need any more fans for this. Adding additional fans would just be adding additional noise. There's no real functional reason why we need any extra fans. Okay. So let's turn our attention now to the case. So this case would normally have, it would normally come with some extra fans. I've already removed the extra fans to save a bit of time, just because last night couldn't do the live stream because of the cable and fluffy mouth. So I had it all sort of sitting, all the parts kind of sitting here on my desk, and it was just sort of like annoying me that I couldn't do it. So I was like, I'm gonna take out the 3 fans to save me a little bit of time tonight.
Thanks,
So
past Tim.
yes, past Tim is looking out for future Tim.
Corey says, "Oh, poor bastard, but God love him, the cat."
Yeah. He's
I
all
drew
he's
on
all
his
right.
cone to make him feel better, but I don't know if that
I don't think it worked. She drew a smiley face and a star and stuff like that, but I don't think he really responded too well to that. Okay, so what have we got for our drive tray in this case? We got like a... Okay, it just slides out, hey? Oh, yep, no worries.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, 100%. Alrighty.
I've been waiting for him to do that. And Corey says then he will get his towel hair caught in the fan.
Oh.
I've been waiting for him to do that, but he hasn't done it, so he's done it yet.
Yeah, so far so good. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that in the future. It's a nice anti-vibration rubber grommets there for the hard drive to sit in. All part of Be Quiet's design of the case there for you know, prioritizing silence.
Corey says he's so lucky the case has filters and stuff up.
Yep. Okay. What?
Apple's Mac Pro desktop cheese grater looking thing doesn't support third-party video cards.
Of course not.
Buyers will have to settle for built-in GPU support through the Apple Silicon. Yeah.
Good old Apple. Alright, so I had a great deal of trouble taking this off last night.
Yeah, and it sounded like you broke it, but...
I didn't break it though.
I know.
I'm not missing something. It's a normal freaking case.
Fucking hell.
Fuck me dead.
This pin is going to be stuck there, and also I have to do the exact same GPU smash as well with 13600K.
Yep, 13600K, excellent way to go as well. Oh god. Dude, just buy a new case, buy a new PC. Imagine this graphics card, this big brick, imagine that. Wouldn't be enough power for it with that little power supply in there. It's like a 150 watt. Yeah, no, KFC's definitely gone way downhill in the last 30 years.
Unless you go to like a regional store.
Yeah, well, all fast food is generally better in regional areas.
Yeah, imagine trying to serve shit food to a farmer.
Yeah.
You call this chicken?
Yeah.
Corey says it's a monster of a card. Trust me, I had to get a GPU stand to keep it balanced.
Yeah, okay. Shouldn't, I mean, like I'm always one that says, you know, you shouldn't have to do that if it's mounted correctly. Some of the ones that, yeah. But the thing is, you can support it with like pretty much anything you want, right?
Ow, ow.
Sometimes people just buy like a little figurine of their favorite character or whatever, and they stick that under their graphics card. That's just as good and just as safe as any other solution there.
That's actually a really cool idea. I like that. I want to get a little Sailor Moon to put in mine. I need a bigger case. Mine's too small. I've outgrown this case.
Oh, I can't wait.
Fluffy meow. Meow. Oh, big stretch, mate, hey? Oh shit. I almost fell off the chair. Poor cat. Hey.
Yep.
Then we realised it's susceptible to fire. Oh, what'd you do to Snorlax, man? What'd he do to you?
What did Snorlax ever do to deserve that sort of treatment, mate?
Fluffy now.
Snorlax does fuck all. Like that's who he is. If you're too old for Pokemon, Snorlax, the big frickin' thing here, he spends all his day just eating and sleeping. It's the gluttony Pokemon.
Dude.
So he's obviously a fan favorite, right? Fluffy Meow.
Look, it put me down.
Mate, you're very fluffy, but it's not going to get you very far. Okay, so we've got one of these little power supply brackets here. How much clearance we got at the top? Not a great deal. I'll go ahead and mount a couple of these fans in the case before I put the motherboard in. The cooler's got to be front mounted. So we've got to, it's a little bit different with how we put the fans together when we've got a front mount one like this. So a little bit more sort of fuck aroundy. If you don't think about what you're doing here with this configuration of parts, you might have a bad time. You might end up doing a lot of things twice. Yeah, yeah. I think first gen's got to be. I mean, it's the classic, so I mean, it's always going to be popular. See, the reason why Pokemon was so popular is because we all loved fucking dinosaurs. We all grew up with Jurassic Park and shit like that from that era, and so we all wanted dinosaurs to be real. And then they gave us Pokemon, and it was like a world where like dinosaurs were kind of real, and we could train them and battle them. So as a kid, it's just, oh wow, it's so awesome. He's the gluttony Pokemon. Okay. And so these three fans, we've got one on the back here, 120mm, two on the front, two on the top, sorry, two on the top I should say, and then we'll have the three obviously on the front with our radiator.
Big steams Corey says, anyways, guys, I'm heading off for the night. Better enjoy your night.
Have a good one, Corey. I'll see you next time. Alright, we're nearly done with this. Okay. Okay, so one thing I noticed with this, we do have a IO shield somewhere in here. Yes. Alright, so make sure you don't slice your hand open on the rear IO shield. Yeah. Oh, where's this? Oh. Thought it was a friend. Okay. So now we're ready to get our motherboard in the case and our radiator mounted with these 3 fans. So I've got the CPU power cable fed through, but other than that, it's all pretty straightforward. We've got all the right offsets in place.
Jeez, mate. Fucking now. What's going on?
What's up?
Oh, just watching a news reporter do stuff with raisins. It's kind of funny. There's supposedly Australia's hottest burger. It's called Nashville Death Wish. It's with aged Moruga scorpion chili, which is 500 times hotter than most Tabasco sauces.
Mm.
You literally have to wear gloves and safety glasses to eat it. Yeah, you don't want that in your eyes.
Okay. Okay.
Get that man a glass of, like, no, not a glass, a jug of milk. How about a jug of milk, actually? What a troop of eating. It's like pain on his face. He keeps saying, I usually do a bad idea. It's like, I just want to go home. That's funny. It's always fun watching some spicy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Brad says hi.
Hey Brad, how you going? Good to have you with us. So the trick sometimes when you're mounting a cooler is to actually mount your fans directly to the radiator through the front of your case like this. So that will save you a lot of heartache getting your cooler installed. I should have had a bag of freaking bolts for this. What's up? Looking at new RGB things.
Yeah, I'm gonna save this file. It's
For background. Yeah, cool.
Yes, pretty cool. There's a heap of different stuff. Yeah.
Okay, let's get our 3 Light Wings fans in the front there. We can put our magnetic dust filter back over them and chuck our front panel back on. Very good. And so we can see what it's kind of shaping up to look like. And so I won't need to route anything behind the motherboard. So we can just go ahead and put all of our screws in place now. Okay. Okay, so now we've got all of this shit at the back here to deal with. So it's actually a relatively simple job from here. So first things first, we can look at our RGB. So there's a heap of RGB headers on this motherboard. And all of our RGB is daisy chainable, so we only need to have one cable going to the motherboard. And that can be just down the bottom here. And then from that one, we can hook up all of our RGB. Just stay like that. Thank you. Okay, so that's all of our RGB in a daisy chain. We've just got the one for our case. There we go. So we got all of that in one chain. There is one here for our pump. So I think I can get away with this little connector here and save that controller for something else. Okay, so what have we got here? We got 3 fans. What did we get? What do we get with okay, so we get an RGB hub, but we don't get a fan hub. Okay, good fun, good fun. Yeah.
Patch says, hey guys, the 500DX case is awesome. I'm using the 500FX case for my RTX 70 Ti.
Yes. Cool. Yeah, no, it'll definitely go well. I think I've done a couple in this case. It's not completely new. I haven't done one for a while.
Fluffy now. So you see is fluffy now.
Mm-hmm. He's very fluffy. That's what he's famous for. It's got a 7800x3d. That's
Yes.
pretty much it. That's pretty much it.
Cat. Now. Might want this.
Wi-Fi antenna. Yes, definitely.
Important BIOS, won't you?
Yep, definitely.
There will be when we leave.
Yes.
You're on the way. Fluffy now.
Well, I think we're going to run into a problem here. So while we do have clearance in this case for this graphics card, with that radiator mounted on the front, it's going to be like just too big to get this card in. So I don't think we're going to be able to use this radiator. Not in this position, because it's just not going to fit. It's just not going to fit the card. That simple.
This is another size issue.
I know.
That we've had.
I know, but
this week.
if you look at it, this case has 369 millimeters of clearance. This card is like 349 or something like that. But
Can
when
you maybe put the fans on the other side, like in the front bit of that mesh?
let's have a look.
Yeah, you gotta rip it off again.
I'm gonna rip this fucking thing off again. Bloody hell.
Can the fans like go on front? like that?
Possibly.
Because then you could still use the radiator.
Yeah. Alright, let's try that. Let's try that.
Rick said, another case GPU issue.
Yep.
Oh, Bradley says, sorry Tim, I'm going to jump off. I have 4% on my phone and I'm almost finished work.
No worries, man. Alright, let's give this a go.
Now.
I might have a 240 radiator anyway.
Buddy's coming back.
Can you come over here and assist?
I guess.
Just hold these 3 cans like that. Yep.
This should be enough room. No. Cool.
Yeah?
Yeah. Cool. Ow, ow, ow.
Bloody hell, okay. It's gonna be tight, but I think we made it.
Yay. I was useful for something.
Oh, really?
Updated last month.
Okay. So that should fix our problem. And it sure does. I've done something stupid.
What'd you do?
Oh, I forgot to plug in the front panel audio. And I'm going to struggle with the graphics card. What?
Oh, what you said.
Oh.
Something's never in doubt.
There's usually a way around it.
Doesn't even feel like that.
Put it on turbo mode or whatever. Whatever it is.
You are fucking out. Chill.
sad.
Yeah. Oh, speak of the devil. What?
Okay, so we'll get our adapter ready to roll.
He's got the big box.
No, not in this one. Not in this one. But that's okay. We can make them. We can still make it look good.
Joshua says hi too.
Hey Josh, how you going? Good to have you with us. So no, the customer came to me with most of the specs for this one, so there we go. All right, so have a look at that. That looks nice and neat. So I don't know how well you can see it in there. Can you zoom in on it, babe? So all our cables are just tied into a nice straight line. Doesn't look like there's sort of shit everywhere or anything. They're all coming from the one direction, just above that Be Quiet logo there. So you got 3 8-pin cables into the triple 8-pin to 12 plus 4-pin adapter. And so yeah, it's all about just tying it down bit by bit so it's nice and neat, and then it looks really good. No problems at all. And also once the cables come down here, it sort of hides it pretty well as well. Alright, so let's just hope that the front of the case is not too loud. Not about it being loud, but let's hope it's not making any contact, because it's quite tight at the front there. So I'm just a little bit concerned.
Fluffy Meow.
I'm a little bit concerned we'll have an obstruction in the front.
Sit there.
Do you want to check that blue cable?
Which one?
The blue cable. Sorry, what's that?
The service at the rear is another story cable manage the chaos around the back.
It's not really. I don't like to go to town on the back there, because it just makes more work if anything goes wrong and you have to upgrade it or do anything with it.
Josh says good main house building.
Are those fans at the front moving? Alright, so we're on Heaven here. Hi, no anti-aliasing. And so just for anyone who hasn't seen this before, up the top here we've got our graphics card, temperature, usage, clock speed and wattage. Then we've got our VRAM usage and clock speed. We've got our CPU temperature, usage, clock speed, and wattage, and our RAM usage. And then this number here below RAM, this is how many frames per second it's currently running.
Screen GPU stats.
What's that?
Oh, hang on. It says Bradley says I got a Ryzen 7800x and 32GB 36 megahertz RAM. I'm waiting for it at the moment. It says how do I open that? I want to see the on-screen GPU stats.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna be making videos on all this crap that I set up in Windows, because it would do my head in to explain every app like every night that I do this. But if you scroll back and watch me set up MSI Afterburner, because if you download MSI Afterburner, and it will also install another app called Riva Tuner Statistics Server, then you can go into your MSI Afterburner settings, and we'll just pause since we came out because BattleNet is installed now. I'll show you what I'm talking about. MSI Afterburner, so install that. Go over to settings, go here to monitoring, and then you want to click on the value you want, and then you want to select show on-screen display. Now click on everything you want to see on the screen. Go down here and select it for everything. Your CPU, it'll have each of the threads, and then the one that doesn't have a number is the total. So if you just want the total, just select the one that doesn't have a number next to it. Then you need to go to the next, click apply, and save everything in that you want. Then on the next tab, you got to go and you got to turn on the toggle keys. So select, I do Control F10, Control F11, Control F12, but you can do whatever you want. And then you go down here to more, turn on show own statistics, that's the frames per second, and then you've got the size of the text there that you can adjust. And then once you've done all that, it will show up like this when you go in and run benchmarks or your games or whatever. Then you can just hit, if you set up the toggle keys, and you can just hit Control F10 and turn it on and off whenever you want. So it's a handy feature to have. But yes, I'm making a playlist of videos that it's going to show all that. I've been saying it for ages, but yeah, I gotta do it. So yeah, we always run the same benchmarks and the same settings with every PC. So if you go back and have a look at different configurations, you can compare the benchmarks, running the same benchmarks on everything. Just makes it easier to compare things.
Bradley says William's going to deliver. He's just waiting for his point to go into him. And he says, oh, okay. Listen, I listen to that soon.
Yo. Yep. Yeah, give it a go. It's pretty easy to set up, but yeah, like I said, you can set whatever statistics you want to see on the screen there, and then yeah, just follow the setup process, and yeah, you'll end up with this. Alright, so that was heaven there with a bit of an interruption in the middle there. That's alright. Next we'll do Valley. So Valley is more demanding. We also run it on higher settings, so Ultra, Max Anti-Aliasing. And like I said, it's a more demanding benchmark, and freaking MSI Afterburner and Reaver Tuner wanted to close on me. Good one. There we go. Had a customer come around to pick up his PC, and he in his defense, he wasn't here super early. He was here at like 10 o'clock, but like I didn't get to bed that like the previous night till like 1:30. So I was like still pretty much I was still asleep, I think, or just waking up at 10 o'clock, and I didn't hear him at the door. Luckily, he was fairly local, so I just dropped the PC off to him, so no problems. Okay, well, like I said, this is the end of the night now. This is where we do the stress test. Just run a bit of power through it, make sure it's all running sweet. And so this is designed to generate a bit of heat, make sure everything's okay, and if it's all good, then yeah, Russ will be able to pick this up tomorrow. Alrighty. Oh, I might want to open up Hardware Monitor so I can log the temperatures. But yeah, we let this one run for, just do a 90-minute run. Don't need to run it really any longer than that. Just to get everything up to temperature and all that. Make sure it's all running sweet, but yeah, I'm not foreseeing any problems. The fans are sounding good there under load with it all generating a bit of heat there. Because that's the real determination as to how good the PC is in terms of silence. It's what it's like when it's actually under load here and generating a bit of heat. And basically it seems to be purring, so yeah, happy days. Well, this is the point of the night where I throw it over to anyone else who's got any other final questions or comments for me before I sign off. Now is your time to speak. That was a really cool idea with shots. I don't drink, but like that is a cool idea. Someone had like shot glasses and they had them in the freezer on an angle, half filled with water, so like on an angle, and then you fill up the shot glass with spirits, and then half of it's ice and half of it's, yeah, definitely a good way to do shots, I reckon. Yeah, sounds good. No problems. Because, yeah, Russell's just down on the Gold Coast, so he's not far. He's going to come pick up. Alright, well, yeah, I think that'll be it for now. So, yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all in the next video.